Welcome back, and for anybody that's new, I'm Casey. So right off the bat, I want to give a shout out because of the fact 34.8% of my views come from people sharing it on Facebook, and 11.3 come from those who share it on Reddit. And you guys know who you are, and you're rock stars. Thank you. All right, so with today's build, one of the nice parts about it is you can do it for really cheap. I went out and gathered some stuff with my daughter, had a blast doing that, and then took and got a few dollars worth of concrete to sift it out. And from there, all we needed to do was use some foam and some paint. Now, you don't have to use the exact paints I used here, but I got them from the dollar store, so why not? Two words of caution is that the bright pinks of these does end up leaving a residue. And as you can see here, that residue ended up changing the color a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm totally against that, as when the smoke is there, it kind of disappears. But that leads me to the next aspect, is that this isn't completely fireproof, and these are inherently dangerous anyways. So you never want to leave the room with these going by themselves. You always want to be around it, and especially if you're going to home make something that holds them. It would be best if you had it, on something that was all like completely concrete or something, but at the same time, it would be best if it was in water, and that's no fun. Now, this style of project really ended up helping me exercise some things that I'm not the best at. I'm not really good at things that are patient, fine details. You will see that the wife did end up helping me out. She got to carve it to get the initial design, but that was mainly because of the fact she wanted to design it. But when it came to putting the little details on there and stuff, it's usually something that I struggle with. So it was kind of fun to be able to exercise that. And it was also neat to try to think of stuff on a different scale. It's one of those things where you got to try to take and say, okay, what would look like a tree? What would look like a leaf? What would look like this? What would look like that? And try to put it together. So it's kind of a fun project. Anyways, enough talking. Let's get to it. I'm not going to need this much, but I'm going to gather a bunch just so I have it. Okay. So there's a bunch of dead seaweed, but might be able to be used. A couple of these might. So let's talk about this foam cutter that I just whipped together that you're going to see the wife use. The wife's going to take and carve this out with it. So basically all it is one of these big popsicle sticks. I got some old speaker wire that was laying around, piece of nichrome, same stuff you've probably seen me use in the past, and I just attached it to one of these Samsung chargers, and that's all it is. This allows you to change the shape. You can take and make it sharper, you can make it a smoother profile, whatever you need. So it's really nice to be able to carve it out. Real quick, I want to mention what a backflow incense is. So it has a little hole drilled into the bottom, and it allows the heat to go up, but then smoke gets created in there. And that smoke doesn't have the heat with it, so therefore it drops out of the bottom, and now it's denser because of the fact it's got the particles mixed in with it, and it flows down. So that means all the smoke ends up flowing downwards like a waterfall. It's really cool. So on the top here, I'm going to need to carve this out quite a bit. I'm going to need to put quite a bit of that concrete mix on here as a protective layer, but I'm also going to raise up the incense a little bit off of there so that way it has a chance to flow into there, as well as it has a little raised platform keep the heat away from it. So I'm just going to carve that out a bit. I probably shouldn't have to say this, but the fumes from this are bad, so have a fan going or something. So I should mention, when the concrete goes on, a lot of the details disappear, so I had her put the details in more than what they should in the final product. So I did this one a little bit much, but it's the one I'm most worried about. So now I'll take some of the concrete that I sifted out, mix it with some water, and apply it with a brush. This is with the first layer on there. The white's showing through a little bit more than it did in the test one, but I also did do several layers on that, so we'll see how it turns out later on. I almost feel like I should have done this with all of them, but it's alright. Basically, I'm going to take and let these dry, then I'm going to take and spray them with an enamel to help hold all that together even stronger, and then I'm going to do another layer, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is a clear coat I'm using. It can withstand temperatures of 500 degrees. Alright, so this is going to be layer 2. That first layer should help this one stick a little better. Alright, so a couple things that I wanted to know is spraying the clear coat. Actually, if I had exposed foam, it actually ended up kind of melting it away a little bit, but that actually helped because it gave a pocket for some more concrete to go into. So that actually worked out beneficial. I just had to make sure to be aware of that when I went to spray it. Real quick, if you're liking the video, hit that like button. It lets me know. If you don't like the video, hit the dislike button. It's okay. It will let me know. If you have a comment, leave a comment. And as always, if you want to stick around and see more of these videos, of course, subscribe. All right, let's check it out. Alright guys, this was a fun project to exercise some new skills. If you decide to make one, share it with me. Let me know. I'd love to see it. Alright, till next time.